I want to talk about My Woman. Is that cool?
Yeah, of course.
It's a great record too.
Thank you.
Are you explore your relationship? Oh wait, hold on. Before we get into that, is there a xylophone on Alienated?
I think so, yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
You can hear it. It sounds really good. Okay. Anyway, back to
It might have been Kite's xylophone.
That's what I was wondering, genuinely.
I don't know if it was, but it might have been. I think it was. Like, I think that was in the house, so that's why I used it.
Okay, so you really are recording all these songs in a room under the stairs.
Yeah.
So like life in your house is going on around you.
Yeah.
And you're just finding time during the day to record?
Yeah. I was like obviously a process before even Kai was born, you know what I mean? And then on a evening when she was born, like obviously like she would be sleeping in the house, so I had to figure out another space to do things. So I ended up building like a shed in the back garden for a bit, and then we eventually developed it into the cabin that it is now. So yeah, it was just trying to just make this record from that organic place of, you know, my actual existence and habitual surroundings where I was, and feel like I could bring that energy into the music then.
That's the most beautiful way to create, most organic, most authentic.
Yeah, definitely. You don't have to dress up, nothing, you know what I mean? You can go in the studio and you with no shoes on, no t-shirt, just chill, like relaxed, live life and make music.
The idea of you like belting and doing all these runs with like just normal life happening around you is pretty sick.
Safe, I appreciate that.
But also like exactly the way this album needs to be made.
Yeah, definitely. In order for it to feel as real as it does, I think, yeah.
100%. It's her xylophone. Sick. How much of this music was made before she was born compared to after?
It was, I'd say about 50-50. You know what I mean? I had like, actually probably less, probably like maybe 30%, 20-30% before she was born, and then a lot of the record came about, like really became a record like after she was born, I think.
Do you go back and touch songs or rewrite songs that had been done or you thought were done before?
Yeah, I think that always happens, you know. If I was to reel off some songs from Mind of Mine right now and like speak about them songs, there's so many songs I would love to go and recut today, you know.
Really?
Like, yeah, like, because it's just the development, you know, like of, oh, I could do this better, I could do that better. But also the other thing is with me, like, my team will tell you, like, they abuse me for it because, like, I have this, like, thing where once I record something, I feel like there's a magic to that moment, right? So especially if I'm writing and it comes from a place of, like, oh, I got that idea 30 seconds before and I put it on the mic, and then say I came in 2 weeks later and I did that same thing, it's not going to have the same kind of magic to it, the same kind of conviction of this, like, this light bulb going off and this is a really good idea, let me say this to you right now on the mic, right? So I record songs and then I'm like, I don't want to go touch that in case I ruin it, you know what I mean? And it takes this magic away from it. It sounds rehearsed or it feels premeditated and it doesn't have this real cool vibe to it that comes from just being expressive in the moment, you know what I mean?
So how do you figure that out with bringing in a producer who's going to maybe ask you to recut things and or like...
But the thing is, he didn't.
Really?
He didn't ask me to recut one vocal.
Holy shit. So you really had... This album was really done before he touched it.
He mastered my vocal and made it sound pretty as fuck. You know?
Dude, it's crazy.
At it. But the vocals I never recut again for Dave Cobb. No, once we started working, I didn't touch my vocal again.
Wow. It's really great.
Because I wanted it to feel that way, you know what I mean? I wanted it to feel as raw and as authentic as it could. And the only way I could do that, I felt, was like by me recording that, you know, like being across it and doing it myself. Like
it feels like a lot of these songs are like recorded with you and musicians in their room in one take. Like that's what it gives. Like it very much gives like very much one take and you did it.
Yeah. A lot of the sentiment behind the records were that, you know, I wanted it to feel like it was one vibe, a live song, and we don't go and make anything perfect. We just keep it the way it is.
You did it worked.
Thank you.
Yeah. Goal accomplished.
Thanks.
Fuck yeah. Back to My Woman. This is it seems to me that you're talking about an actual woman, but there are moments throughout the record and throughout the album where you do explore your relationship with alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And that is touched upon in this song.
Mm-hmm.
So are you talking about a woman or are you talking about booze?
I think that's the thing about music, right? Like it can be taken however anybody wants to take it. I was talking about specifically in that situation, I'm talking about my woman. I'm not talking about alcohol. I'm talking about dealing with situations using alcohol, you know?
Forgetting her.
Yeah, forgetting her. Yeah. And you know, using alcohol as the replacement, you know what I'm saying?
How It Feels. Great record.
Uh-huh.
Where are you at when you write it?
Sad. Yeah. Where was I at?
No, you answered the question.
The emotional state. You
Yeah,
was asking,
yeah.
I was sad, yeah. Is that enough of it?
Well, yeah.
Explanation?
Totally okay. Does that...
yeah, I was just, you know, thinking about things and going through, you know, my breakup and situations there. I think in that song specifically, I'm talking about, you know, not being able to explain to the person that you're in love with why it is that, you know, you necessarily can't be the best version of the partner that you want to be. And that's a really sad thing.
It is sad. Because you know you can be.
Yeah.
Right?
I could be, yeah, but I wasn't at that place at that point in my life, you know?
Does a song like this put a period on that story, or is it an ellipses, like a ... and a continuation?
No, it's a period.
It's a period.
It's a period, yeah, at this point, yeah.
Is that something you needed?
Yeah, for sure. I think everybody needs closure, you know, at some point. Like,
Is this...
close things off and be like, this is done. I'm done with this. This is the emotion. I got it out and I can move on from it.
Is this song that closure?
No, I don't think this song's closure. I just think like there's closure in life, you know, in general. Like you get it. And I've moved on from that situation now, but that's how I was feeling at that moment.
It's really, by the way, like the most adult thing is that, genuinely, is emotional closure attached to a family that will forever have to exist because you have the most beautiful thing in the world.
Yeah.
You created this incredible being that is this force of nature.
Uh-huh.
Like
hopefully.
She will be. She will be.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, because
she's a force of nature to me.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But she will be to society in this world as she wants to, when she wants to. As she's amazing parents. But like that is maturity. Do you get what I'm saying? Like that's...
Definitely, yeah. And you know, like I've said, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but she has given me a lot of them things, you know? She's given me maturity. She's forced my sensibility to become this mature father for her, you know? This good, responsible role model that takes accountability for their actions and sticks to their word, you know? And proves that my word is bond, you know? Like whatever I say, I stand by this. This is who I am.
Respect. Is there on the list of things that you care about becoming a person who's ready to be a partner for somebody again one day?
Hopefully, you know? Yeah, hopefully that comes on the horizon again. I personally, at this point in my life, I've told everybody, you know, around me that is in my life, you know, friends, family, loved ones, people that I might even just be seeing a little bit, you know, dating, not necessarily in a relationship with.
Totally.
That's not where I'm at in my life, and I'm completely, for the first time in my life, happy and accepting of that. Like I don't need another person in order to identify myself, you know, or to find myself in them. I'm cool by myself, you know, and I'm okay living on my own clock, on my own time, on my own schedule. And if I do eventually fall in love with someone, it will be something that's beautiful and something that is 50-50. We both want to be there and we're both as interested in each other as the other one, you know?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and hopefully that'll happen for me at some point in life, you know? I don't know when that is, but I'm not actively searching it. If I find it, I'll let you know that.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But like, in due time, and I smile out of pure joy and happiness because I think one of the hardest things for somebody to realize is that they don't need somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Like, to find happiness alone in what you have around you and the family that you have grown, and that extends from Kai to the farm, to your friends, to everything. Like there's security and love and acceptance just with that and what you have.
Yeah, I'm 31 years deep. You know, I've spent a lot of time with this person, and I'm starting to like them. You know what I mean? I'm like,
That's
yeah,
sick.
I'm cool with this person. Yeah, this is a good one. You know what I mean? Like, if you could pick who you want to be, you know what I mean? Like, I'd pick this. I'd pick this guy. You know, I'd be this person, and I'm happy with that now.
What a beautiful thing to say. Was there a moment in your life where you never thought you could even say that? Or think
Definitely,
that?
yeah. I probably would have cringed at myself even thinking about saying it, to be honest. So yeah, it's free and it's nice.
Beautiful. By the way, that's saying that and being that honest and transparent, but also finding this acceptance and love within, and with external factors weighing into that. That is cool. It isn't cringe.
No, yeah, I think that development, obviously, as you get older, you understand that, you know what I mean? That is cool, like to be that rather than be this like pretentious, closed off version of yourself where you think, if I say this, people are going to judge me or, you know, whatever. Just be transparent, and you find that when you have faith in other human beings, the love is reciprocated and they understand you, you know, and they're there with you. They're going through the same human experience as you. You're not some amazing, special, one-off individual. We're all going through something together, you know?
That understanding, right? That like we're all human, we're all going through something, we're all going through something together. Would that understanding have maybe helped bring perspective or clarity to what you were going through when you were in a band?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. You know, no one person's situation is individual. There's always somebody that can relate to it in some which way or form, you know. And you know, I think the thing was when we were so young and when we were in the band, we didn't have that level of compassion yet because we didn't understand life yet. We just were young kids that were just thrown into this situation, you know. And now when I look back at it, I can look at it, you know, in a positive light and be like, you know, all these guys came from similar background to me, you know, they had nothing, they worked their asses off, they wanted to sing, they got thrown in a band, and, you know, we resented each other to a certain degree because we were solo artists that were put in a band, and we should have never felt that way. It should have never been a competition. It should have always been a camaraderie, and we should have always been there for each other and had each other's backs, you know. So I think that's just a development over time again, you know what I mean? Like I've become a more compassionate, caring person for other people, and the thing that I learned is I could have done that earlier, you know?
Of course. But you also can't hate the person you were, as you were just a child evolving
Exactly,
and
yeah,
growing, and
just a young person learning.
literally
Yeah.
you can't learn until you do. Right? Like you have to fucking trip and fall before you can like understand why and get back up.
Exactly, yeah.
Run again. It's interesting because like everything happens for a reason. And this album is a beautiful body of work
Thank you.
that you got to listen to. There's going to be a link below, so please listen to it. Gates of Hell. What are the gates of hell?
Gates of Hell. I knew I was going to get asked about this. Gates of Hell is the idea that you're at the shittest place, you know, like that you could be at, like in a situation. Like it's just the gates of hell, right? What gets worse than that? Like you're at this place of just turmoil, you know what I mean? Internally with yourself, like I don't like you very much, but I keep putting up with your shit is the hook in that song, you know. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. The whole idea behind that song was meant to be like you just went to a bar, you just broke up with your girlfriend, and you had a few drinks, and you just spoke your mind. Like that was the intention behind it, you know.
Is that what you did?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I had a few drinks and I wrote that song. Yeah, just completely honest.
So fucked. I can't feel my face. Know a couple people might call me a disgrace, but fuck them. I ain't looking up. Ain't never been one to give me a second look.
Ain't ever been one to give a second look.
That's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Great record.
Thank you.
Is there a strategy behind the order of this album?
Yeah, they all like sonically play into each other. Like they play one after the other in a nice manner, but they also have some sentiment behind, you know, like the idea. So that song, obviously the song that comes after is then the morning after, you know what I mean? Like, so this is like
Totally.
I'm drunk, and then I wake up, oh, last night I didn't know where I was, you know, up, down, or sideways, like, but I'm frowning anywhere because I'm hungover from last night, and that was what I was going through. You know what I mean?
Birds on a cloud.
Mm-hmm.
False starts. What is a false start?
A false start. I think the idea behind that is, you know, the false start at the beginning of the race. You know, the gun went off and you started running, but it wasn't really the start yet. And I felt like that was something that kind of summed up, I guess, my first introduction to being a solo artist to where I was at now. You know, felt like I'd hit the ground running and then just kind of stopped. You know, so it was a false start, and here I am with a new one.
Why'd you stop for the first time?
I think I just took my foot off the pedal a little bit, especially with the promotion and, you know, like interviews and things like this. Like, I just was not interested in it at all. Like,
It sucks.
It doesn't suck, actually.
I know.
I just wasn't interested in it because I wasn't in the place to sit and talk like this now, you know? But, you know, these things you live and learn from, and you realize that in this situation here, the job that I'm doing, they want to know you, you know? They want to know, is this person a good person? Like, we live in a world now where people really want to know every single thing about you, you know? And that's not necessarily who I am. I'm not an extrovert. I don't give everything to everybody. I keep a lot of stuff to myself. So it was hard for me to transition into that place where I was like, yo, this is okay. I'm cool with this, you know? And also accepting that I want a successful career. You know, I'd never been able to even say that. Like, oh yeah, I want my music to do really well. Like, it felt like weird to me to say that. I was like, oh yeah, just like put it out and see what happens. And I had this cool, like cutthroat edge with things. You know what I mean? Like, just clinical, it is what it is. I don't care. But really, I did. You know,
there's armor there, right?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You definitely do care.
Self-defense.
Totally,
you know what I mean?
by like stepping away, like kind of relinquishing control.
If I don't care, then therefore it's not going to hurt me, right?
Totally.
Exactly. But there's something cooler about being hurt and caring.
Because if you're hurt, you
can do something about it. Yeah.
Yes. Channel that into something tangible.
Exactly.
And, you know, by the way, it's so interesting that you say that, like, now people want to know all of you. And I was thinking to myself, like, when I say interviews suck, I thought to myself instantly when you're in the band and you're doing, dude, I mean, some days you could have done 8 interviews in a day, right? Like, yeah. I mean, more. I mean,
yeah.
You did crazy radio rooms. You guys would split up and do separate things. And the goal was as many outlets as humanly possible all the time.
Yeah.
Saturation. But for as many interviews as one would do then, they were all puddle deep, right? The most shallow little things. So it was like demanding and as intensive as it was, and like kind of not thought-provoking, but also thought-provoking because you have to think when
but
you
also real trivial, you know what I mean?
That's it. Like,
and like soul draining.
100%.
Yeah.
Sometimes like trivial shit like sucks energy out of you more than like this.
Than this, for sure. Yeah, this is engaging. This is beneficial. Feels like you're actually having an actual discussion, having a conversation where you're getting to a point of like understanding somebody rather than, what's your favorite color? Who's your favorite celebrity crush?
Spin the wheel or some bullshit. Yes.
Like, okay, like we've done this a million times. Like, is there anything else you want to know about me? Like, besides what I eat for dinner? You know what I mean?
And the answer was like, no back then.
Yeah, nah. So yeah, it was a lot of that, and that, you know, helped. And sorry, not helped, but like made it more of a negative experience for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had that taste in my mouth. You know what I mean? When I left and was still solo artist, I still remembered that, you know, and I didn't want to go back into that pool straight away. I was like, I'm cool, like I'll bide my time. But like I said, I learned, you know what I mean, that it is vital for me to come and represent myself as me, because all people do know of me is this guy that was in this band, so they should get to know me, you know what I mean?
And by the way, you can do the right stuff that you want to do, right? Like, you've picked the right environments.
And I can do these kind of you know, interviews and have these kind of conversations where, you know, people get that insight and get to know me. Yeah.
Us, Alex Cooper, Sean Evans. Yes. Really great company to be in, by the way, but also the right places to go and, like, I don't know, just be yourself.
Yeah.
And do you make your way all the way with those wings or whatever?
What'd you say?
Did you eat all the wings?
All the hot ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ate them all, yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Is it painful?
A little bit, yeah. Burnt my face a little bit, yeah.
Sorry.
Like, is what it is. It was kind of fun too. Like I enjoyed the interview. It was all right.
Does it linger, the pain? Like, does it hang around?
Yeah, I was not. My stomach wasn't great.
That's my gates of hell, brother. That's my version. Okay,
It's a whole different meaning.
It's a whole different fiery sensation. Damn. Concrete Kisses is beautiful. By the way, attached to Birds on a Cloud, this is another really great meaning, right? Like this idea that you've been kissed by the concrete from falling so many times.
Yeah.
Falling over what? Or just everything?
Just think falling in life, you know, the concrete constantly kisses you. Let's take it as a kiss rather than a fall.
Well, you can learn from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's positivity in that.
Yeah, I like the contrast, you know what I mean, of this like idea of something that is seen as, you know, an interaction or expression of love, but it having this real like hard edge to it, you know what I mean? Imagine being kissed by the concrete. I'm sure it doesn't feel too great.
Falling in love and falling quite literally.
With the pain of it.
Yeah, because it is painful. But is that how you know it's love? Or I don't know.
I don't know how you know what love is. That's a real deep question. It's hard, you know. I think love comes in many different forms. In love with somebody it's a whole different kind of complicated, you know. There's so many variables that go into it. Like you can never really pinpoint, I think, what is love.
It's
I
true.
think there's ways you can show love, you know, you can express it, and that's our human understanding of it. But what is love? It's an untangible thing, right? We can't hold it in our hands. It's not something that exists.
And it's forever changing. Yeah, it's forever changing.
Exactly.
Because that is one thing that I've realized is like, I think love has taken on new definition, right? Like in moments where I thought maybe I was in love, but then I actually fall in love and I realized that what I had before wasn't real love or a version of love.
Because the perspective changes it, right?
Yeah,
Over time. Totally. Like you look back on it with new eyes and you're like, well, maybe I wasn't in love there, but that's time.
That's it.
So is it love or is it life experience? You know what I mean? That we are going through. Who knows? We're just in these situations. We look back at them with different eyes. It's a completely different situation.
Do you look back at what you've come from and go, I was in love?
I think like when you ask me what is love, I think the reason that's hard for me to answer that question is I don't know if I've ever actually truly been in love. Yeah, at this point.
You could say you were in love with Kai, you love Kai.
Yeah, but that's different. Like,
totally different.
Yeah, I'm in love with her as my child. Like in love with somebody who is a complete separate entity. They're not my family. I have no blood with them. Like I'm in love with this person, you know? I don't know.
It's interesting. Because like there are, I think, some things that could be shared, right? Like this idea that you want Kai to be the best version of herself. You want that for any partner.
Mm-hmm.
This idea that you reprioritize the people you love, right? And you put them before oneself. There are some common threads, but it is a totally different love.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let me know when it comes your way, okay?
I will too.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. Speaking of love, something in the water. What's in the water?
Something in the water is,
Can I have some?
I felt like because the record was so, you know, in this like folk R&B space that I needed.
Sex it up a little bit?
Yeah, something that was a bit Zayn, you know what I mean? Like something that is like, yo, Zayn can still sing these songs too, you know? I'm still down for the R&B vibes and I'm still into the sexy vibes. So that's what that was pretty much.
Yeah, make love to this.
Yeah.
It works.
Give you something to break it up a little bit.
It's good. It's like it is like the right moment in the album where it doesn't deviate, but it just gives you that energy that, again, like
it gives you a different mood, you know,
yes,
for a little right amount of time, and then you come back into what the rest of the record is.
100%. What do you want somebody to learn about you from listening to this album?
I like all different types of music, and I enjoy writing. I'm a grown person that's living a human experience, and I don't think I'm anything better than anybody else.
What'd you learn about yourself from making this album?
Are
there any common threads?
I think I knew a lot of things that are in this album before I made this album, but I managed to express it through, you know, the things that I'm saying in the record. So I don't know if I learned anything specifically. I think I just you know, like we were saying, like that I'm not a perfect person, and I'm cool with that. Like, it is what it is. No one's perfect, you know, and that's okay. Like, to be imperfect is probably better.
That is so freeing. How do you define success?
Hmm?
How do you define success?
Define success. It's hard for me because a lot of people will always phrase that question and be like, what was the definitive moment that you realized you were successful, you know? I don't think there is a definitive moment. I think I gain them feelings of success in small, short bursts, you know? Like, I did this song. This felt great. I felt accomplished doing this. And that's why I need to constantly drive and push myself to get better, because I only get it in short bursts of like, oh, feeling accomplished, you know, I did this. And then as soon as I've done that, I'm thinking about the next thing I want to do in order to get that sense of accomplishment again. But in terms of like made it, I don't think I'll ever say that about myself ever as I'm alive. Like, I don't think anybody's ever truly made it. Life is an experience, and it, like we said, it's time, you know. People like me right now, 5, 10 years, 15, 20 years, I'm cool and realistic enough with myself that I can accept that people might not give a fuck anymore about me or care, you know what I mean? And that's cool. Like, so you just gotta push yourself to get better constantly in order to keep people's attention and, you know, keep people interested. But that's on you, you know, like, you gotta make it interesting.
So 2 questions. The sense of accomplishment that you're feeling from making this album, finishing these songs, did you have that same sense of accomplishment when you were doing the first era of solo stuff?
Definitely not. No, yeah. That's developed too. You know, the sense of accomplishment is greater because I had a greater involvement. I put more work into it, you know. So yeah, it's interesting. You said, you know, what is define success to me, you said, right? Success is a weird thing, you know. I think it's dependent on people's perception, like what they think or rate as success. And for me, a lot of things that people see as successful, I don't rate them things. So having money, being famous, people knowing who you are, like having a nice car, having a nice house, like, I don't rate them things. That's not what I did this for, you know. I'm just an artist that needs to create, like, and it's like an incessant like desire that takes over me, that I need to express these feelings, and I need to sing and I need to paint. It's not for the end result, you know what I'm saying? I don't do it for like, oh, what are people going to say about this? It's more, I need to do this, you know?
Everything is just like a byproduct.
And then whatever comes after.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, on the other people's perception of what they think of it.
The ripple effect doesn't influence
At
your
all.
need or
Yeah,
your
I don't
desire
care
to do
about it, yeah.
So how many songs do you write before you narrow it down to the 15 that we get?
I think for this record, I wrote about 16, 17.
Got it.
Because I really went in, you know, like on my other records, like, I think I ended up writing like 50, 60 for some of them, for like,
Wow.
for Mind of Mine, yeah. Not for Mind of Mine, sorry, for Icarus Falls.
Yeah.
And then I whittled that down to like, I think about, I don't even know how many songs were on that all in all, but there was a lot of songs. And then Nobody's Listening, I think I did about 30 songs for, and I ended up doing like 11 songs on the record, I think. So this was way less, the amount that I wrote, but the content was way higher, you know, like it was quality over quantity.
How often are you painting?
Painting. I'd stopped for a little bit, but I just got back into it like a couple of weeks before I came out here. Just felt like I needed to start painting again. I just had this desire to want to get a few things on canvas. So.
What do you paint?
I'm painting J. Cole's KOD album cover for my friend, because he asked me to paint it for him, because I like doing like cartoon stuff, like real bright, vivid colors, you know, like cartoony looking things.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it in kind of my style, but I'm painting that at the minute. It's looking pretty good. Like, I'm pretty proud of it. It's sick.
Wait, so I want to see your work.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah,
at some
please,
point.
please, please,
Yeah,
please.
yeah.
So like, when you say cartoony, like, what are you doing? Like cultural pieces, like pop culture pieces? Are you doing anything in your?
Just, it's more stylistically cartoony looking, you know what I mean? Like big bold black lines and big bright colors, caricature looking stuff, you know, overly exaggerated features if I'm drawing faces and things like that. Yeah.
Oh fuck. I have a probably in the last like 3 years I've grown a real deep fond appreciation for art. I mean, like physical art. And I think I've always appreciated and had a deep appreciation for someone who can create something out of nothing, right? And for that to come from a vulnerable place. So like when you're painting something, do you go into a different zone or a trance? Or are you cautious and conscious of what you're doing?
I don't know if it's a trance, you know. I just enjoy painting. It's a place of creation and freedom, you know. And the thing is with art, there's no right or wrong, you know.
True.
It's just expression. So I think that's what I enjoy about it. I like the idea that there's no right and wrong, that you can just do what you want.
So do you think about it when you're doing it?
Kind of, but I've painted and drawn for like my whole life pretty much, as far back as I can remember, and it's just something that gives me this like real nice feeling, you know. I feel good when I'm painting, like I feel like a kid.
Is there something to it that like, because you genuinely, everything's done for you, but this, like, it's art that's not for commercial, you know, anything, consumption. Like it's genuinely something that you can make, that you can keep within your friend group, the people you care
And
about.
that's the other side of it too, you know what I mean? There's no pressure with it. And that's it also the reason why I was even saying earlier, I write raps and stuff, but the reason I do it is because there's no pressure. Like people are not expecting me to be great at rapping, you know what I mean? So it's something that I can just do and have it for myself. Like, and I feel we need that too, you know? Especially if you're in a position like me where the stuff that you're doing is so, you know, put on a platform and people are reading into it and looking into it. It's nice to have something for yourself a little bit too.
But
So maybe in the future, I'll do an art gallery or something, you know what I mean, when I'm older, but I'd like to like build like a whole repertoire of art for like 40 years, like, and then be like, oh, this is all my stuff, come and check it out and have a look at it. It's not actually for sale, you know what I mean? But you can look at it.
That's cool. Like I've never thought like, you know, to plan the careers of an artist today is different than it's ever been before, right? Like this, like, and I'm gonna go look at the Mona Lisa in 2 days. I'm excited, like down to go to the Louvre. That's sick. But like, when you think of art today, like what art is making waves, right? It's art that you see on a building that people then fight to tear apart. Like it is, like, what does it mean to be a painter or a street artist or somebody who creates art with a bunch of different materials and textures, and like it's so different. It's so different. Yeah, have a fucking gallery of a bunch of shit. Like how many pieces do you make in a month? Like what is it like? Do you?
It depends. I can go pretty fast sometimes, and sometimes it could take time. It depends what kind of style I'm doing, but sometimes I could do like 2-3 paintings in 2-3 days, like one a day. Like
wow.
Yeah.
But there's also something to like keeping it within a community, right? Like I can,
because I paint with acrylic too, so it dries really fast. That's the good thing about it. You know what I mean? Like you can just.
Where do you paint?
Huh?
Where do you paint?
I have like a porch area outside my house that's like just all glass windows, just like an extension to the front of my house, and you can see all the trees and stuff.
That's cool.
A lot of natural sunlight in there, and I just love painting in there. It's really good.
Do you play music? Do you just
sometimes, but music can be a bit distracting to me if I need to focus and stuff. Like I start singing and getting into the music. You know what I mean?
You really just zone out on the strokes.
Yeah, I like to just paint. Yeah,
that's sick. It's really cool. I wish I had that skill. I have the most respect for people who do that. It's really cool. It's just like a very cool form of art.
Yeah, no, I never thought about it. It's cool. I just enjoy it. I love it.
When did you start? Do you remember like the first thing you ever like painted or drew?
God knows. I used to be obsessed with Casper as a kid.
Sick.
I used to draw him a lot. Like I used to draw Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Of course.
So I think that's like my earliest memory of like copying like a perfect circle head and like trying to make it look like Casper, you know?
So, okay, that there is something to art, right? Like, and that's how you learn is by copying something that.
Of course, yeah, for sure. That's all art is, right? Not one idea is original at this point.
Does the same rule apply to music?
Of course it does.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. I think anybody that says it doesn't is completely bullshitting, you know what I mean? We're all inspired by other people. And that's a great thing. Like we were talking about earlier, we're all living this human experience together and we all see things from other people that we can take for ourselves and, you know, mold it and make our version of it. And that's all art is. Like, that's why there's no right and wrong. It's your perspective and it's your story.
You gotta listen to Under the Stairs. It's waiting for you on Amazon Music. There's a real room under the stairs?
Yeah, there's a real room under the stairs, yeah.
Cool. Cool. I mean, like when you sell the house one day, you'll be like, yo,
Yeah. This was the room.
the real estate agent's
I'm
going to
not
jump
selling
all
the
over
house.
it. Never.
If you want to know, I'm never going to sell that house. That's going to be part of my existence forever.
It's going to be a museum to you one day or something.
Hopefully, yeah. I'm gonna put like a clause in there so they can't sell it. Like, and if they do, all the money has to go to charity, so nobody will sell it.
Because nobody likes to do anything good for anybody.
It'll be like, no, we're not selling it because we want the money. We're only selling the house because we want the money.
But think about it, like how weird is that? Like, 100 years from now, people are going to,
I'm putting in my will. You're not allowed to sell this house,
dude. Like, but imagine like 100 years from now, people are going to Bumblefuck, Pennsylvania, to go and see your art. View it while your music is playing.
Yeah,
you add tourism to the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd do that though. I don't know if I'd open my house up like that.
No,
it's
not
really weird to me to think about that.
It's just like you, Hershey Park, Dorney Park.
Yeah.
Like, why else would anyone go to Pennsylvania?
Yeah, it would be funny. No. Yeah, I don't know if I'd do it though. I've thought about it. You know what I mean? Like Elvis did it, Prince did it,
right?
Bob
It
did
is a
it.
common thing.
Like the big icons all seem to do it, but I don't know if I'm about that, to be honest.
I mean, it's 100 years from now.
Yeah,
where are you at?
And look, I'll be dead, so who gives a shit about what
Back
my
in your
opinion
plans,
is?
though, to be honest,
what I mean? Yeah, like nobody's gonna care. But me now alive, like I don't know how I feel about it. It's weird for me.
I mean, your energy will travel, be amongst your plants, be amongst your farm.
They can just feel it around the house.
Are you gonna add animals to this thing, or what's the deal?
I've got a few animals now.
Oh, you got?
I've got chickens, turtles,
of course.
Nothing like crazy farm, not like I don't have like horses or pigs or sheep. Yeah,
I hear llamas are very like common. They actually they keep.
A lot of people have llamas in Pennsylvania.
Well, because they keep the coyotes away.
They make a sound.
That's it.
Yeah, they alert all the other animals if they see like a predator.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, plants are wild to me. Animals are wild. Like, I have this whole new appreciation for things.
Yeah.
Like, I've been fostering puppies, like just trying to save as many puppies as I can.
Sick.
And I've been just like deeply analyzing the way dogs communicate with one another. It's crazy.
It is, yeah. They have a whole thing going on.
Fuck, man, totally. And they probably like these things have been communicating in a way that like humans can't even begin to comprehend.
Yeah,
really.
nah. This is instinctual like feeling of presence that they have, and they just love to be in the moment and live in the moment. And it's about the idea that we were talking about earlier. You said, what is love? An animal is love. There you go.
Unconditional, unwavering
that's love. You know what I mean?
And there, to your point, is like,
and just the way they look at you, like
that's crazy.
You know what I mean? They can't even speak a word, but just the connection, eyes to eyes, is a deep thing.
But their instinct, like the way they can
and that's
sense
why I think
energy.
kids have it even more so with animals. You know what I mean? Because they're closer to that instinctual, like habitual behavior that we kind of forget as we become adults. You know what I mean? Like, we forget to live in the moment and be happy and love in the moment. You know.
And you get to desensitize to a bunch of stuff.
For sure. And like I see my cats and like my dogs, the way they are with Kai, like they just love her. Like they're just drawn to her energy, because she must just give off this feeling of like just pure love. Like, and they just love it.
And they'll protect her.
And they can see it too, I think.
Totally.
Yeah, it's a deep thing.
Dude, every sense. See it, smell it, feel it.
Yeah.
And the instinct though, it's crazy. Like my dogs will predict something, like not predict, they know something's about to happen. Could be seconds before something comes or whatever.
Yeah, they feel all kinds of different things that we don't feel in it, vibrations, but also their hearing is so much more heightened than ours, so they can hear things 10 minutes before we do.
Animals are beautiful.
They're amazing.
Really. Listen to Under the Stairs. I really appreciate you, man. I really like
you too.
This is a special conversation.
I've enjoyed it. It's been amazing.
Me too. Thank you for doing this. Like,
no worries, thanks for having me. Yeah. I've always enjoyed talking to you on the phone, and I was like, we need to do this in person.
We've had some really good phone interviews.
Mm-hmm.
They're deep for what they are, you know what I mean? A few minutes on the phone.
Yeah. We've always seemed to have a good conversation.
It always hits. And you know what? I was, when I would interview you when you were in the band, when I worked at Nickelodeon, I always tried to inject like the same level of questions that we have today. It was just like never twofold, right? Like, the executives who are my bosses, like they just want me to stick to their fucking corny ass script.
Yeah.
Right. And then the other thing is like the artists, in this case, like you guys, nobody's like prepared for it because they're so used to like the same old puddle depth shit. So I really appreciated every second you've ever given me throughout the many, many, many moons of doing this, which is, how many years has it been? 13, 12?
Yeah, 13 years. Yeah, 13 years.
Crazy, right?
Started at 17. Yeah, so actually 14 years. I'm 31.
How crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I've been doing my show for 17 years.
that's mad.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Does it make you feel old?
100%.
Yeah.
Do you feel old?
I do, yeah. When I think about I've been doing this for 14 years and I feel real old, yeah.
There's beauty in
And
that.
I'm not old. I
No.
just feel old because it's just way too long to have been doing this at 31. You know what I mean? Like,
I do like, you know, there is something to doing the same thing for so long, right? The idea of logging thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours.
mhm.
And like you can reach a point of like subconscious or unconscious competence where you can really like you learn and you figure out and you
They
tackle
say it's
things.
10,000 hours, right, to reach
Yeah.
master level. At
You're way
something.
past that.
Yeah, I don't know how many hours I've put in doing
30.
music now. It must be 30,000 hours.
It has to
40,000.
be.
Don't know. We'll have to do the math.
I'll
We might
put,
be really wrong.
I'll put on my visor and grab a calculator and
We'll have
I'll
to
work
figure
something
it out.
out.
Yeah.
No, but when you think of that, it is crazy. But also, you have to keep challenging yourself to stay interested and connected, and also to match the stage you're at in your life, right? Like the music you made and the sonics that we're hearing, the sounds and the musicianship, that it's all there because the stories needed it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like
Yeah.
you needed this R&B folk sound to tell this story.
Exactly. I needed that pocket. I needed that space in order to create what I created, you know. I didn't feel like even the genre of music I was doing before lent itself to allow me to be that deep, you know, and actually tell my story.
Does confidence fuel that decision to take that leap?
I think so, yeah. But also just like the rush of the fear, you know, like this is something that's different. It's not something that people expect. And I'd like to see what they think of it, you know. That also,
The
yeah.
rush of the fear.
Yeah.
Damn.
The fear drives us all, right?
So true. It's so true. Listen Under the Stairs. Please listen. It's all on Amazon Music. Zayn, I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
This was really a lot of fun. Enjoyed every second.
Me too. I loved it. It was wicked.
Well, peace and love. Zayn, everybody.
We done, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, wicked.
Cool. Sick.
Yay.